Yes. Welcome, everyone. It's Cannabis News. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's August 26, 2019. The show, as always, is presented by the Marijuana Times and marijuanatimes.org. Follow the cannabis community, industry, and beyond at marijuanatimes.org. Click the video tab there to find this show. Today, we're talking about being honest with your doctors when it comes to cannabis use for things like surgery and such. Also, the Drug Czar has some stupid, ill-informed things to say about cannabis, and that is not surprising. We'll talk about that. Also, Netflix has reduced on-screen smoking of tobacco, but not marijuana, and apparently that's a big deal for some odd reason. All that's coming up, but first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free. Don't use harmful chemicals or ban pesticides on what you are growing. Be regulatory compliant in the state that you are growing in when it comes to growing cannabis, or use it for anything that you are growing. Natureside, nature-side.com, a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Thank you. Natureside, this first story by Julia Granowitz of marijuanatimes.org. It's important to be honest with your doctor about cannabis use before surgery. As legalization spreads, we're learning many new things about the cannabis plant and its consumption that we have not under complete prohibition. One of those things is the fact that when you smoke marijuana, you're likely to need more common anesthetics used for sedation during surgery, more of common anesthetics used for sedation during surgery. After a study was published on the subject in May of this year, doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals are encouraging people to be more open with their doctors about their cannabis use because it could be a matter of safety if you need to undergo surgery. We're not going to have any judgment. There's no stigma, said Dr. David Hepner, an anesthesiologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital. It's just important for us to know because the cannabis could interact with the anesthetic, and we need to know how to adjust. Research has found that cannabis use in the hours leading up to being sedated as cause for most complications. You should still be honest about your use, especially if you consume regularly, since marijuana can raise your heart rate and decrease blood pressure. Consumption right before surgery could potentially lead to cardiac problems, even heart attacks, and breathing issues. Though these are the worst case scenario situations and not common, the potential dangers are certainly there and shouldn't be ignored. Now, of course, more than ever, you can be honest with your doctor about cannabis use. In the era, quote unquote, of legalization, or at least in the United States, partial, somewhat limited, regulated legalization in some parts of the country, with laws changing sometimes from town to town and jurisdiction to jurisdiction. I mean, it doesn't roll off the tongue like era of legalization does, but if you want to go for accuracy over brevity, you will go with the latter. This next story is from WIBC.com. Drug Czar says Indiana has a right on marijuana policy. When I think of states that have a right on marijuana policy, Indiana does not immediately jump to mind. But let's see what the Drug Czar had to say. Maybe he's right, and maybe I'm wrong. Indiana's hardline on marijuana has the backing of the National Drug Czar. Indiana is one of the 17 states where even medical marijuana is still illegal. Director of National Drug Control Policy Jim Carroll echoes Governor Holcomb in saying it's worth researching medical benefits, but until the Food and Drug Administration confirms they exist, there's no grounds for legalization. There's no grounds for legalization. The only grounds for legalization are the Food and Drug Administration saying it's okay, not the fact that the people who grow and sell, consume, and possess marijuana are not infringing on the rights of anyone else. No, that's not grounds for legalization. Only when the FDA says, the FDA, by the way, which has approved medications that kill tens of thousands of people every year, and cannabis has killed no one, those people, that entity, that agency that has approved the substances that kill tens of thousands of people every year, until they say that it's cool, there's no grounds for legalization. Carroll says, what is confirmed, hold on. So far, they go on to tell us what the FDA has done. The FDA has approved just 4 cannabis derivatives for medical use, including a purified form of CBD, which Carroll knows can't get you high. Carroll says what is confirmed is the damage marijuana does to teen brain development. It's not really confirmed, but in any case, he says that's reason enough to keep it illegal. Let's say that it was confirmed that marijuana does damage to teen brains. That's a reason for legalization. That's yet another reason for legalization. That's not a reason to keep it illegal. In every data set, we've talked about this a million times. Teen use, youth use, 12 to 17 use is going down or staying the same. No matter what state you look at it nationally, look at states that have legalized for a few years, it doesn't matter. The only age group that's using less marijuana under legalization is teens. Everybody else is using a lot more. So the reasoning behind, well, it damages teens, so we should keep it illegal, keep it in the hands of drug dealers who don't check ID as opposed to regulated licensed shops that do check ID, that makes no sense. In any case, that is not surprising from the drug czar. His entire job is based on illegal drugs. And one of the main ones is marijuana. That's why the DEA has dragged their feet so long. One of their main cash cows when it comes to budget is marijuana. 11 states have legalized marijuana, while 22 more have legalized it for medical use only. Carroll says the regulation of marijuana dispensaries, which has accompanied those laws, isn't enough to limit marijuana use to adults. So medical marijuana dispensaries aren't enough to limit marijuana use to adults. So what he wants is no marijuana dispensaries. Leave all the sales in the hands of drug dealers. Because why? I don't know. I mean, it would limit it more to adults, wouldn't it? It has. That's what we've seen. That's what logic would say. But their idea is just, well, we'll just leave it in the hands of drug dealers, and that will keep kids safe. Because Lord knows kids can't get a hold of marijuana under prohibition. It's very, very difficult to get a hold of marijuana under prohibition. It's only since legalization has the scourge of the devil's lettuce been unleashed upon our youth. And these people will say these things with a straight face, that we want to protect kids, so we want to keep marijuana illegal. It makes no sense. You might, because they came out and said, we want to keep kids safe, so we're going to leave marijuana in the hands of drug dealers. That wouldn't have the same ring to it. Again, it's all about the branding. It's how you position these things. Can't say what you really mean to kind of say what people will think is okay. This next story was kind of a dumb story. From National Public Radio, Netflix curbs tobacco use on screen, but not pot. What's up with that? First of all, kudos, NPR, for your How Do You Do, Fellow Kids title. But let's continue. When is it wrong to show cigarette smoking on television, but okay to depict people smoking cannabis products, particularly in programming popular among young teenagers? Well, I would say anytime. Anytime. Marijuana is a much safer substance. If you're worried about kids wanting to try something they see on screen, you're much better off showing marijuana than tobacco for a whole host of reasons, most of them dealing directly with health and not dying from lung cancer and heart disease. Netflix recently announced it would curb depictions of cigarette smoking in original programming intended for general audiences after a Truth Initiative study showed its monster summer hit, listen to this, Stranger Things, featured more tobacco use than any other program on streaming, broadcast, or cable. There's tobacco in every single episode. Stranger Things. Those of you who watch Stranger Things, you know, and I watched it. It's set around 1983, 1984, 1985. For authenticity, they do a lot of things that we don't have today. For instance, they have VCRs. They show VCR use in Stranger Things. There's a million examples like that. They're being authentic to the time frame. And what dictates authenticity for the mid-'80s, a lot of people were smoking cigarettes. I mean, they could leave that out, but why? They're looking for authenticity for the show. If seeing cigarette smoking on Stranger Things makes you smoke cigarettes, well, maybe you're kind of a dummy. I mean, I'm sorry. I get it. They're kids. They make dumb decisions. But if you see kids from the 80s smoking cigarettes on Stranger Things, you know what else they had in that show? Pintos. Arcades. These things don't exist anymore. The mall. Season 3, the mall is a big thing. Is the mall a big thing for you? I doubt it. Are you a teen? Are you a youth? Are you hanging out at the mall, at the food court? Probably not. So if you start smoking cigarettes because you saw it on Stranger Things, well, you're stupid. I'm sorry. I mean, come on. I mean, and eventually we just got to get down to brass tacks here. That's nuts. Yes, I know the studies. Oh, studies show you see smoking on TV and you smoke. Okay, well, dummy, I'm sorry. You saw the sheriff chain smoking on Stranger Things. Like, that looks pretty cool. I think I'll do that. He was also an alcoholic who lived in like a shack in a trailer, and then he moved to the woods. And then he met a very poor demise. And if you haven't seen 3, I didn't say spoiler, I don't care. You'll live. Should have watched it by now. It's been on there forever. Come on. Anyway. It's their big blockbuster. The Truth Initiative study showed that there was tobacco all over Stranger Things. That's crazy. You know what else they kept mentioning? What I saw a Reagan Bush sign placard, and I saw another one for Mondale and Ferraro. It's crazy. Crazy. All these kids are going to be out there voting for Mondale now. It's nuts. And they mentioned other things about marijuana and depicting tobacco use is going down and marijuana use is going up. Marijuana is a much safer substance. It just is. And if there's a cool factor in it, which they allude to, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. But if I had to pick between tobacco or alcohol or any other substance really at all, and my kids trying marijuana, I'm going to go with marijuana. It's much safer than anything else they can try. Which includes sex. There's quite a bit of that in Stranger Things too. That's right, the knocking of the boots. I know. But kids may see that on television and say, hey, I saw that girl with the perm having sex on Stranger Things. Because it was 1984 and she had a perm. Well, now I'm going to go try that. I'm going to smoke a cigarette and I'm going to have sex because I saw it on Stranger Things. And 1984 seemed pretty cool. It seemed like a pretty good year. I don't know. It's dumb. It's dumb. If you start smoking weed because you see it on TV, that's also dumb. If you see it in a movie, you're like, oh, I watched that and smoke, now I'm going to smoke weed. That's dumb. Better reasons for things. You'll find as you get older, you probably have better reasons for things than just, I saw it on Stranger Things. A lot of people get shot in Stranger Things too. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys want to try that. I think there's other factors involved. Anyway, that's Cannabis News. We're here 5 days a week at marijuanatimes.org. Search us out on YouTube and Vimeo as well for the audio or for the video version. Rather, the audio version, if you want the audio only, search Marijuana Times on Apple Podcasts. Thinking of Nature Side, nature-side.com, and they're organic, all natural pesticides. Make sure you check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Keep liking and sharing and commenting and all that stuff and spreading the truth about cannabis with this show. We'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.